It's another week beginning. It's a Monday. Time is it? It is 5:07. And yeah, it's an interesting week I've got coming up. I want to share with you. Part of doing this video diary is, well, there's a few reasons. I think if a life is worth living, it has to be worth recording, and I want to get it out there. So there's a part of me that wants to get this out there where I don't actually mind who sees it. If no one sees it, I'd still do it because it's part of kind of holding me accountable around a few big, audacious goals that I have in terms of really helping lots and lots of people all around the world live a life of intention. And I want to dive into that this week and share that with you. I've also got a really difficult thing going on in terms of, I say it's a challenging thing, but I'm actually giving a talk for the hospice that my wife spent the last few days of her life. And I'm a big fan of hospices. My mum and my dad, they ended up in a hospice that they actually did work for. They actually were fundraisers for it. And I know that's not where my wife wanted to be, but it was definitely the best place for her. So I've got a meeting with them, with a lady from the hospice, just regarding this big gala dinner that I'm going to be speaking at on Saturday. There's a few other things going on that I just want to share with you. I think being so brutally honest around my life, what I'm doing, my intentions, is what I'm going to continue to do. Let's make it a great week. What do you reckon? In a few weeks, I'm going on an epic adventure in New Zealand for 6 weeks, and I'm actually delivering a Zoom session tonight. I got completely confused with the time because they are 12 hours ahead, but we've just gone back an hour, which means they're 13 hours ahead. So then I was thinking I'll be doing my session at 10 o'clock tonight. Oh my God, I normally go to bed at 7 or 8 at the moment. And then I realized, because I had to ask someone, that actually means my session is going to be at 8 o'clock tonight. Phew, I'm so happy about that. And I'm going to be delivering a session to health and fitness professionals. I'm actually just working on my presentation right now. It's called Mindset Matters, Enhancing Mental Health for Fitness Professionals. And this is one of the things that I kind of do. I map out my presentations, and then I'm going to be in my other room, which I'll show you tonight, with beautiful camera, and I'm going to really put on a great presentation for these guys. So that's what I'm partly working on today. Here's a little thought. I was just looking at this beautiful tree, and it only seemed like yesterday that tree was in full bloom, and now you can see the leaves falling off the tree, and you can see them on the floor. And this is nature. This is nature's way. Sometimes we forget that we are also a part of nature, and there are specific things that we need to do in order for us to flourish, in order for us to bloom like this. And I think the power of stopping should never be underestimated. Stop and really consider what we're actually doing, what we're actually creating in a world that's moving so fast. I'm just feeling very philosophical as I continue to work on my presentation for tonight. So this is one of the things I look to do every day, is to get out amongst in nature, walk for at least around 90 minutes. And it's really interesting. I don't know whether you have a coach in your life. Maybe I'm coaching you. That's what I am. But I also have a coach, and I talked to my coach today for an hour on the phone. He's in Indianapolis, and he's one of those people that is such a pivotal person in my life. He's someone who's there for me. He's someone who holds me accountable. He's someone who kind of knows me. I've spent so much time with this person. When I met him, yep, you guessed it, I met him on the social media app Clubhouse, and it's really interesting because I heard him speak, and I was so intrigued by who this person was and what they were saying. I felt I really had to get to know this person, and he looked at our branding, My365, and he was like, what's that, My365? And together working with him, one of the things we came to the conclusion was that MI stands for My Intentions Now Delivered. You want to get your mind right, you got to be intentional. And I got to know him, and I was saying, we've got to work together, we've got to do something together. And what was really interesting was he was saying, well, yeah, but let's really get to know each other. And I was thinking, well, we've spent hours and hours getting to know each other. But then when my wife got really sick, I leaned on him. I pretty much spoke to him every day. I'd be out walking the streets at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and I'd be speaking to him. I couldn't sleep. And boy, did we get to know each other on those conversations. We then recorded a whole load of podcasts. We did a series on where you are isn't who you are. We did another series on the power of authenticity. And he's just one of those people that just really encourages me to look at myself, because one thing's for sure, I am not the finished article, and I still find adapting to this new place that I'm in really difficult. And one of the things that I'm committed to doing is helping people live with their great intentions. But I gotta go first. So this morning, I thought about if I was sat on a bench with my mum and then on another bench with my dad and my wife, what I'd say to them about what I'm doing in terms of the world of intention. And it was really interesting. Perhaps I'll share a little bit more of that another time, because I really want to, on this journey that I'm on over the new season of my life, is share it with people. Even if a few people only end up watching this, it's something that's still very important to me. Anyway, I'm off to go and post a few things in here. Can we look inside the bag? No, so I can't seem to get the camera to work for that. Carrying the 10 kilogram weight in my back. I'm gonna get some food shopping and go home and just start to get really prepared for this session with all these health and fitness professionals in New Zealand tonight. Some days are definitely harder than others for whatever reason. Now today, carrying this weight on my back is harder than probably any day that I can remember, but that doesn't stop me from stopping. I have actually stopped a couple of times to just rest, but I'm now at one of my favorite places on earth. I am not everyone's cup of tea, and especially when it comes to food, I am a massive meat eater. I'm pretty much carnivore, I'm very much keto. So this is one of the places I go every week and stock up on some real quality meat. Just getting ready for this session tonight, 8 p.m. here, 9 a.m. in New Zealand. I can't believe I'm going to be going to New Zealand in a few weeks. I'm actually going for 6 weeks, and that's also something I'm hugely looking forward to sharing with people that follow me, to see this part of the world that is a long way from perhaps where you might be. Who knows, you might be in New Zealand watching this. But this is my studio. These are my notes. These are my slides. I don't like to use too many slides, but I really do like having great equipment, and this was something I really invested in during lockdown, because I was in complete denial during lockdown about my work. My wife and I moved near an airport because I was flying all over the world, but that all changed and I had to kind of reinvent myself, which is a big part of the work that I do. But this place has real significance to me, just in terms of we built a place for working, for filming, and I don't use this. I used to say that to my wife all the time, who loves you, baby. These are my books I've written: Swimming with Pete, Life DIY. There's a book about a clubhouse that many of you have heard me talk about. There's a book called Habit Busting. That's actually in Korean. That's in English. Fear Busting, Sort Your Life Out. That's a book I've written that's been translated into Japanese on stopping smoking. That was published in Italian. Anyway, enough of that. About that, I'm gonna go and get ready, do my hair. But I think everything is ready for my presentation tonight. So I am just about to get ready, and the Exercise New Zealand team are sorting themselves out. Would you like to say hello? Nikki, would you like to say hello?
Hello, kia ora.
Where are you, Nikki?
I'm in Auckland and the rest of the team's in Christchurch, so I'm on the North Island and Mary and Lydia are on the South.
So Mary, it's like, what was that TV programme called where they were in, I can't remember what that programme was called, where people were waving at the end and they were all in different, it doesn't matter, it's not important.
Oh, the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch, there you go. There you go. So we're going live in about 1 minute, right? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, well I better just do my hair, but I'm ready to go. Do you guys just want to give a wave? There you go, it's just like it's the Brady Bunch. Lovely. There are many things in life that I just want to get on with. Just get on with it. What is it? It is intentional thinking. I really want to help change the narrative around death and dying and hospices. And in a few weeks, I am going to be giving a talk on behalf of the hospice where my wife, her life ended, but she was in the best possible place. What's really interesting also is that my mum and my dad, their lives also ended in a hospice, and hospices are so reliant on people to support them, and I want to do everything I can to help this incredible place. I've just arrived for a meeting regarding the keynote presentation I'm doing, and I know it's going to be extremely challenging, but you know that it's not about that, right? It's about raising money, and it's about raising awareness of what hospices do, because you know what? If something happens to me, I don't want to end up in a hospital. I want to end up here. This is the place to be. And if it's not you, it's going to be someone you know. And I want to help raise awareness of what hospices do all over the place, all over the UK, all over the world where they exist, because most of them rely on funding. They rely on people actually donating. Let's go in. It's very strange being back here for so many reasons. Just this room over there was where my wife spent 19 days of her life, and it's such a peaceful place, and that's what she wanted. But what's even more stranger is literally 20 years ago we made a documentary where I came out of this hospice, and the documentary was all about happiness. And I walked over here and I spoke to the director. I was actually talking to people here in this hospice around their life and what they thought happiness was and what they regretted, and it massively impacted my life. And I never would have believed that 20 years later I'd be here with my wife, with her when she took her last breaths, and now talking to them about giving a presentation at a big fundraising event that they've got going on. So I'm sitting here with Emma, and Emma's one of the fundraising team, is that right?
That's correct.
So can you just tell us a little bit about this event and what's it for? And
Of course. So, like many hospices, we're struggling with the running costs. Everything has gone up exponentially in recent times, and just to ensure that we're going to be here tomorrow and in the future for people that need us, we need to raise funds. 13%, only 13%, which I think many people are really shocked by. That number is government funded. So the rest of that we have to bring in through fundraising, through events like our gala dinner. So the pressure is always on to ensure that we can bring in that income and make sure that we are here. So, that is the whole point of gala dinner, to put on a fantastic evening.
yeah,
World-class kind of entertainment and fine food, but also the real nitty-gritty of it is that without people coming to these events and supporting us and generously putting their hands in their pockets, we won't be here for much longer. And that is...
And it's interesting because where I'm filming you, I can just see the room that Hannah was in just over the back there. What is it you want me to speak into?
I want you to kind of bring the reality of it in, and that, kind of put aside those preconceptions about hospices. It's not just for elderly people at the end of their life, it's for people like Hannah, who had a whole life ahead of her, that every one of us is going to be touched by the hospice at one point in our life. That's unavoidable. Death is unavoidable. So we need to ensure that we can be here for the future, for everybody, for every generation. We need you to come and talk quite openly, quite honestly, in its rawest form, about your experience, about the importance of us being here.
It will be done, and it will be amazing. We will raise 100,000
At least.
Let's do it. Here I am in one of my favourite places on earth, and yes, I do have a towel, just if you are wondering. I am actually in my sauna, and here is the garden, and I just love to watch the birds coming into the garden, especially these robins. My wife actually, she created this beautiful, she used to love sewing, and it said, when robins appear, loved ones are near. You might have heard of that. And whenever I think of Sea of Robins, I always think of my mum and my dad, my wife. I mentioned yesterday that this whole thing about intention, once upon a time I was very lucky, very fortunate, because everything I touched turned to gold. I was a best-selling author, I was published by big publishing houses, I was on TV, but I really wasn't particularly secure about who I was and what I was doing. I didn't have a big vision, I just couldn't believe it was happening to me. I thought, It's probably all going to run out at one point. I wish I'd been more intentional. I wish I'd been more strategic, to have had more of an impact, because that's all I'm interested in. I'm interested in impact. That's all. I want to positively impact the world. I want people to realize the power of intention, which is really our ability to be present. I think everyone is intentional. It's just a lot of people are using intention to live a life of comfort, and some people are living it for a life of growth and contribution. And yesterday I mentioned when I was going for a walk that my coach, Dr. Ray, had encouraged me to imagine sitting next to my mum and talking to her about the work that I'm doing, and my dad and my wife. And it was hugely powerful because it made me realize once again what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I said, look, Mum, I really regret that I spent so much of my life being busy around you that I wasn't particularly present with you. I did learn a lot of that from you, but I'm not blaming you. I want to be more present in my life, and I want to help people do what you did for me, which is my mum. My mum never gave up. She never gave up for me. She fought for me when I was diagnosed as a child with learning difficulties, dyslexia, attention deficit disorder. She always found a way, and it was because of her that I found a way to keep my wife alive for so long. Not that I kept her alive, it was my wife's choice. It was my wife's intention. This is very deep and philosophical, but this is where I do some of my greatest thinking. It is getting pretty hot in here. And then with my dad, talking to my dad, I'd say, look, Dad, you taught me to follow your dreams. My dad always said, son, do whatever makes you happy. He also said, son, if you're going to do a job, do it properly, or don't bother doing it at all. And again, that's what I want to do with who I am, but also encourage and empower people to do the same, to follow their dreams. And then, of course, my wife, who I miss like you couldn't believe. I'm sure you could believe. The most incredible human being who really taught me the power of being intentional. I loved my wife, but I was always frightened that something would happen. I was too busy being busy. I wish I'd been more present with her. I really wish I had been more present with her. I wish I'd made the most of the time I had with her. But that's what I'm going to do with the time I have left. Rather than living in regret, I'm going to live in honoring, live in purpose, of being intentional and empowering other people to do the same. It's really hot. I need to get out there, get in the cold shower, and cool myself down before this camera explodes.
Waiting for one of my deliveries. 30 boxes of the world's greatest coffee coming in. Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you. Yes, I do drink a lot of this because it contains that. I'm gonna be just so honest about so many things, and it really kind of excites me in terms of keeping a video diary and just being honest with so many things that I'm doing and what I want to make happen, and because I really do want to make things happen. And I'm a big fan of YouTube, right? And there's a YouTuber who I really admire, not that I watch much of his content, you might have heard of him. His name's Mr. Beast, and he has created, what has he created? He's created some great content, extremely entertaining, and I think he's built an incredible following of people all around the world. But what I absolutely love about what he talks about is future self. You might have seen in 2017, I've actually done a YouTube video on him myself. In 2017, he made a series of videos where he's talking to his future self and he's kind of telling himself what he's going to do. And it was so inspiring watching that. And I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, he might have been 17, 18 when he was doing it. I'm now 54, but that doesn't stop me from still being bold and speaking up and speaking out about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to create. And next year, I'm going to launch a podcast that's just going to be massive. I'm going to do it in partnership with someone and I'll speak more openly about that over the next few weeks. I've been a podcaster. I was one of the pioneers in the podcasting space. No question about it. I was podcasting when podcasting wasn't even a thing. It was called, one of the things was called Blog Talk Radio, and you recorded a podcast basically on the phone. I did that in, I think it was 2009, 2010. I better be careful here that I don't get run over because I've got lots that I want to do and I'm going to do. There we go. Always use the green cross code. Yeah, I'm going to launch a podcast next year, which is basically going to be all about intentional thinking, but it's going to be talking to people around their lives and what they were thinking at certain times in their life that maybe resulted in what were they thinking that resulted in something maybe amazing happen or something very difficult happening. Because thinking is one of those things that we all do, yet we don't really talk about it. It's like being intentional. We're all intentional, all of us, every single one of us. But when we wake up to what we're doing with our intentional thinking and the impact that's having on our lives, unless we wake up to that reality, then most people just go around in circles and end up actually probably creating a future that they don't want. And having just come back from Greece, I'm still so inspired by walking on the same hallowed turf of people like Socrates, who said an unexamined life isn't worth living. So to examine your life, to question your life, to question your thinking isn't something that everyone wants to do. I think so many people today are just craving a life of comfort, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really none of my business, but I just see a world full of people who I think they need someone like me in their life to empower them to stop, look at what's going on and start changing their life so they can evolve, they can advance. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to build my subscription membership to My365. You know, I did that with my wife in 2017. We had maybe 300 members. I'm going to do exactly the same thing again, but this time not 300 members, 3,000 members. I mean, why not think big? Because I know I value who I am. I am Mr. Intention. I really am. And becoming more so that every single day, like intentionally going out for a walk now with this weight on my back. I don't have to do that, but it's because I have intention. And it's because I want tomorrow to be a great day. I'm investing in today to make tomorrow. So tomorrow will take care of itself by what I do today. And that's what I want to inspire people to do all over the world. And I'm going to get it out. I'm going to keep talking, you know, to the camera, putting it out there. Who knows who will watch it? Maybe I'll watch it one day and look back and go, wow, look what you did. How did you do it? It's pretty obvious, really. Pete, you were super intentional. It's such a beautiful place where I'm walking. I'm so pleased I discovered this place literally by chance not long ago. And I definitely do some of my greatest thinking while I'm walking. As I previously said, an unexamined life isn't worth living. And it's a challenge to examine your life, because then sometimes, well, I have to face up to how I've been living my life. And I know so much of it, I have just been so busy, being busy, pushing for things. To people on the outside world, they think, look at all these things that you've done, right? From books to TV to traveling, all this sort of stuff I've done. But you know what? I didn't really enjoy it. And you know why? Because I wasn't really there. I've realized the power of intentional thinking. I've been using intentional thinking to try and predict the future, perhaps stopping the past from coming back around again. But I just realized I've been a victim of my own thinking. And I'm just so determined now to stop that, stop the cycle. My coach always says to me, who are you? And I now really know who I am. Honestly, I know who I am. I am Mr. Intention. Let me explain it to you like this. Not that long ago, I decided to change my diet massively. Stopped eating sugar, rice, pasta, potato, all these foods which I'm addicted to. And I know that if I'd carried on down that road, I'd end up diabetic. And I changed to the point where I'll never go back. I'll never go back to eating the foods I used to eat. But I used to think, who am I? Am I the person who has a problem with sugar? Or am I the person who's in control of what I eat? And I realise I am that person. I'm the one who can choose. I'm not the person who's got a problem with sugar. But that's how I choose to interpret my life situation, my stance, where I'm going, what I'm doing. And it's the same thing with intention. Am I the person who's busy being busy? No. Even though I've spent large amounts of my life being that person, that's not who I am. I am more than all of that. I know that. And I know, since we're on the subject, I also know that I don't make people's lives better. I've dedicated my life for a very long time to helping and supporting people take ownership, make positive changes. And I realise now more than ever, it was never me that did it. It was always them. But I was really, really good, and I am really, really good, and I'm only going to get better at empowering people to be more present, to let go of the past, to stop putting pressure on the future, on outcomes, have faith in the future, have faith in yourself, and be driven by an inner knowing of who you are, what your purpose in life is, because purpose, intention, attention, they all have very similar meanings based on the fact that I think I'm here for one specific reason. What about you?
Hey everybody, I'm back at home, and look, one of the things I do is I look on Facebook for Facebook memories. Always just looking because I want to see if I've missed anything about my wife. Day doesn't go by without me thinking about her, and I just want to look and see, did I miss anything? And this came up today. I just want to share some of this with you. It's so challenging to look at this, but I want to just be so honest about this whole journey of being intentional, and just have a look at a little bit.
I am giving you an update of, well, we are giving you an update of what I'm doing now and my continued health.
Yeah, so it's been a while. When was the last time you think we did a post? I don't know. It was
Maybe February.
a long time ago. But yeah, so what's happening for you? I mean, your health is... What happened the last time I think the last film we made was at Queen Square, after you'd seen the oncologist, and he just basically said...
That's, I can't see anything, basically.
Yeah, he just basically said, you're fine.
And he's never going to say, you've been cured by Dr. Brzezinski, is he?
Yeah, no.
But,
But they can't find any cancer. Anna's been cancer-free for 4 years. It was 8 years ago.
As I'm sure you can imagine, it's really challenging to watch this, but it doesn't stop me from not watching it, because I really want to live in her honour. I really want to be... She was the most intentional person, and what we were actually talking about here was that she was actually launching her new career, the bespoke quilter, as she was making these quilts. And I was always on at her about, come on, Hannah, you should find something to do. You had a career before you got ill, but she took her time. She did it when she was ready. And look what I'm looking at on this table here. She made that. And as I come in here, look, she made this. She was just incredible. Someone made that for her actually, but this was the last thing that she kind of just started for me. These are all Michael Jordan shirts. This is an example of how difficult and challenging life can be, and I have a choice. I can live in regret, and I do have some regrets out of my relationship with her, and the fact that I could have been more present and more loving. These are things I've mentioned before, but I just still find it so odd that she's not here. I cannot even begin to tell you just how weird it is that she's not here. And we lived in this house together. And I'm not saying this for sympathy, I'm just saying it because life is difficult. Life is challenging. In fact, over there is a picture of my coach who I worked with for 16 years. And if it wasn't for him, well, Hannah would have been dead a long time ago, because he was the one who encouraged me to find people that were still alive. And he also asked her what she was going to do when she got better. And this is one of the things that she did do when she got better. I think just being able to live in someone's memory in such a positive way, where I can honour her by who I choose to be. Yeah, a real challenge to share this with you, and very, very emotional. But it's got to be done, right? It's got to be done. 5:36 in the morning, and I'm now working on something that it's a blank canvas, but I'm taking really all of my thoughts that I've been working on for the last few weeks around intention. All of these notes. I'm a literal serial note taker. I just love to learn. I mean, literally, I have years and years of notes that I've taken, like books, and just, again, the reason I share this is because I just want people to know just how passionate I am about who I am and what I'm doing. And I'm going to put this layout, my manifesto and my mission statement around intention, then I'm going to record it. I'm going to send it to a few people that I work with. I'm going to send it to my coach because I really want to, I'm getting ready to launch myself into the world in a different way and in a more unique way of really knowing who I am and what I'm here to do. It's a big job. I want to wake up millions of people all around the world to the power of intention, people to understand that we all think, but how we think affects everything. Change how we think, we change how we feel, we change our actions, we can change the world as we get out of comfort and we become more deliberate. I'm looking forward to doing this. Once again, I want to share it, get it down there, because one day I'll look back and go, wow, isn't that amazing? I set my intention and look what we did. I think of myself as a little bit of a pioneer and one of the people that kind of went first. I've done things, first ever firewalk live on television. I was one of the first people to have a big presence on being able to broadcast on social media on a platform called Periscope, which was owned by Twitter, where you could basically go live and people all over the world could see you, and it was fantastic. I started doing that, I think, in 2015, and I'd go live. I could have a couple of hundred people. I still like to go live, but it's really interesting right now because there's so many people that are making noise, and I think it's really hard to know who to follow. But I'm actually going to go live right now on Instagram. Let's go down here, let's go live, and let's see what happens. You never know. Let's see who shows up. I'll actually let people know about my video diary. Let's see who shows up. Good morning, happy, beautiful, excuse me, happy, beautiful day. It's Pete Cohen. Smile, you are being filmed right here, right now. I always find it truly awesome and wonderful and strange, like who's gonna come live when I go live. There's Louise. Let us know, actually let us know, let me just straighten my camera a little bit. You're being filmed right here, right now. Let us know where you are in the world. Let me also wave at you. I still don't really know what that means when you wave at someone. How many of you, if you haven't seen the first in the series that we made, have a look at the YouTube video and have a look at the sunrise in Sardinia. It's unbelievable. Our world is so beautiful, and so are you. So I want to thank you for showing up. Does anyone have any questions? I'm just about to record members only podcast for My365. I've got my notes up and there's a lot of notes here. But this is actually really, really, really important what I'm going to be diving into here. It's kind of like a bit of a manifesto, a little bit of my mission statement for the rest of my life, which is to empower people to be more present, to be in the moment. So this is important and I'm looking forward to recording it. I feel quite at home when I've got a microphone in front of me, but I have been podcasting for a long time. Yeah, my 365 podcast, over 500 episodes, 9 years old, drinking the world's healthiest coffee. I'm also going to record it on this little device here, which I love. Happy, beautiful day. It's Pete Cohen. It is the My365 members only podcast. I'll see you after the theme tune. It is Pete Cohen here, and I really want to speak really openly and honestly around a few things. Who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm going, what's important. But who I am really is the big thing. Who are you? I mean, if someone asked me that question now, actually, I feel much more liberated to share that answer. Who am I? Well, I'm Pete Cohen, but am I Pete Cohen? That name was given to me. Is there more to me than my name? What is it that I am here to do? What's my big intention? What's my purpose in life? Well, I believe my purpose in life is to empower people to be empowered, for people to be more present so that people can go beyond living life on autopilot, where people can go beyond some of the habits that perhaps hold them back, where they can just really have a level of self-awareness where they can basically cultivate a life of meaning, a life more where there's more joy. I am at my friend's offices of FMA, the Fitness Marketing Agency, and I've just been asked if I'll do a voiceover for this video. You might not know this, but there's about 30 million people that have listened to my voice on various different meditations and affirmation videos on YouTube, and I'm just going to record this in a minute. I've just been watching the video, which is here, which has been made by the incredible Zoe, who's actually got this camera in her hand. And now we're going to go into the other studio and we're going to use my voice. Welcome to the Fitness Marketing Agency Mastermind. Get ready. Please be standing. Put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Ben Davis. That's it. That's my voice. I'm done. We're done. It's a wrap. Thank you. Definitely been one of those days today. I don't really know what that means when someone says it's been one of those days, but it's been a really difficult day in terms of lethargy, but I still managed to get myself to exercise on my exercise bike. I still managed to go for a walk. I say I still managed, it just felt like everything today was just a struggle. And then coming back home from just doing this little voiceover today, I just realised, there's tidying. I wanted just to tidy the house up, and tidying the house is, I don't know, it's always a challenge because it just makes me think of my wife and just how much I miss her. But also just missing my mum and dad. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Grief is definitely one of the most challenging things. It's just raw. It's like this rawest thing, and I look back now and I realise that when my dad got ill, it was just amazing being there for my mum and just basically just being there for her, because she'd always been there for me. I mean, literally, my mum dedicated her life to me and my brother and my brother's kids, but just being there for her. And then afterwards, she just made this incredible bounce back and had therapy and really dived into the pain of grief. And just as she was kind of getting better, she got sick, and that was during COVID, and then she died. And if that wasn't difficult enough, it was so tough. And then cleaning out the house where my mum and dad live, it took months to do, but my brother and I did it. And again, I just didn't really have a chance to grieve properly. And then just in the November of the same year of my mum passing away is when Hannah got sick again. And it was just a roller coaster, an absolute roller coaster, as I'm sure anyone could understand. I mean, just like, sometimes it still feels like the roller coaster's still moving, but it's not. And to grieve the loss of them is challenging enough, and it's something I don't often talk about, but Hannah had a really serious miscarriage before she got sick again. We desperately wanted a family, and it's grieving that as well. And now I find myself in this wonderful house with all of this space, having to embrace a new season. And it'd be so easy to go, well, I'm in this new season now, so rather than, well, no, I'm still in the old season, I'm still there, I'm still grieving, I'm still coming to terms with not having my mum, my dad, my wife, a child, and now possibly never having a child, and just like, but yet, despite all of that, still wanting to be intentional. And I mean, this Saturday is going to be interesting with being at this gala dinner and being a speaker and talking about my experience at the hospice. You can't get rid of memories. Memories will always be there. But I just felt it was important just to record this, and just anyone that's ever struggles or grief. My friend Dr. Ray and I, he came up with this: struggles halting intentional thinking, or stress halting intentional thinking. All I can be is intentional about the grief, allow myself to grieve, and hide from it, because to live, you're going to die, and people around you are going to die.
And that's just a reality that for some people, when I was young, I never really thought about. I was always frightened of it. I was always frightened of losing my parents. It's just another example of my busy being busy, and this thing I developed, a fear of losing the people closest to me. So often when I was with them, I wasn't present because I was worried about losing them, and I was ahead of my time, thinking ahead of the game, ahead of where I was. And that's another reason why I want to teach people to be present, to be in the moment. Right. Let's get back and keep tidying up the house.
Good morning, it's Friday morning, it's the 1st of November, and actually this is a day where I do you hear the kettle boil then? This is a day where I do something on LinkedIn. The 1st of the month, the 1st of the day, 7 a.m, LinkedIn audio. So I'm going to do that just for half an hour. I normally do it for a bit longer, but on a Friday at 7:30, I do my coaching session with a group of people that I work with. So this room has already been set up. I've been up since the wee early hours of the morning, but now I'm going to do what I always do. Actually, I've been doing this for years, which is drinking a cup of this incredible healthy coffee that's actually got that mushroom infused in it, and this is 100% a absolute non-negotiable. You know, one of the things I'm going to be talking today on LinkedIn about, and I'm going to be talking about it with the group of people I work with, is our default settings. I know that might sound a bit strange to you. I don't know. Do you have a default? Is there an emotion that you go back to? Is there some habit that you have that you just seem to go back to? Oh, sorry about that. That's what I really want to talk about, because in order to be intentional and live an intentional life, you definitely have to address certain elements of yourself, traits that you have, maybe that you go back to. Anyway, enough said. It's time to get this road on the show. This show on the road. Let's go. So we've gone live a few minutes early. Let me just show you what this looks like. It's just me in this room at the moment, but I'm a massive fan of the audio platform and what we can do. I wonder who the first person to hop into this room is. I really, really do. I think goals really only engage the left hemisphere of the brain. Goals can be like a to-do list, but when you're intentional, you have a greater understanding of what it actually takes to achieve anything.
So lovely, and I love the first of any month. It kickstarts me. I'll use your kickstart. And I was excited for today. I was excited when I woke up at 5 this morning. I was like, wow, it's the first of the month, it's a new month, so much, and I get to listen to Pete. Because I do miss the days of Clubhouse in the morning, I must say.
It's been amazing to miss you, because then I know how good it is that you're back with me and around in this space. It's great to see everybody else as well.
Right, that was the session. Now we're going on Zoom. Let's let everyone in. Admit all. So
we were all sitting in the right room going, why isn't he here? Where is he?
Yeah,
I'm sitting in a waiting room being told knitting is shut.
yeah, well, there you go. It happens, right? It happens. We've all been into the wrong room. How many of us have done that in our life? Think, what am I doing in this room? Unmute. There's. Look at Tim there. He's running on a treadmill. Looks like he's having a good time. Well, this is the night. It's the big night, and I'm off to the gala dinner, raising money for the hospice. Nothing is more important than working hard to change the narrative around death and dying and the importance of hospices. So let's go.
There's nothing that's off limits, so whatever we've enjoyed, because that's of course within us.
So that concert was just amazing, and now everyone's going into the main hall where dinner is going to be served, and I'm going to be talking in about an hour. So I've already had 3 glasses of champagne. No, really, I haven't drunk any champagne. That's not true, I've had a sip.
Luckily, we're all aging, and we're aging well. We're living longer than we've ever done before. The longer we live, the more likely we are to live with a life-limiting disease.
You just double click there. Oh no, that's triple clicking. If you triple, yeah, well, that'll be good. I'll use it. I'll use it. It'll be good content. Has anyone ever been to the hospice before? Put your hand up if you've ever been to St. Peter St. James Hospice. The first time I went there was 20 years ago. We made a TV program about happiness, and I wanted to speak to people who were coming to the end of their life, asking them what they thought a great life was. And I never forget coming out of the hospice, and I was so moved by a couple of people who I had spoke to who literally were on the last few days of their life, and it was fascinating having conversations about them. Because yes, death is a taboo subject. And I don't know about you, but how many of you would like to be involved in changing the narrative around death and dying, that we actually actively have conversations about end of life, right? Because in 5 years, I lost my dad, I lost my mum, and I lost my wife. And all three of those people ended up in a hospice. My mum and dad ended up in the North London Hospice in Northwest London, and my wife ended up in the most incredible place, because I think we all know that St. Peter's and St. James's Hospice is one of the most incredible, beautiful places on earth. And all my wife wanted was peace. The other taboo subject is love. Love is a subject, I think it is a bit of a taboo. Would you not agree? That to tell someone, I love you, I care for you, that humans have a bit of a challenge in being loving. Would you not agree with this? None of you, because you're all here, because you have love in your heart and you want to do something. But what I think is so important, if you ever go to the hospice, you just feel the love. You probably don't want to end up being in a hospital. And what we need to do is we need to raise the awareness of what hospices are and what they do, because chances are someone you know has already been there, someone you know will be there, or you might even be there. But we know it's a lottery when it comes to it, because it all comes down to whether there's actually a bed. And she was there for 19 days. And I'm just so grateful, so grateful. But you know, her motto was really simple. Her motto was, just get on with it. That was her motto through the whole time of battling brain cancer. I think it's really important that we start to look outside of the box and we start to see the future, because the future is, well, when you think of the future, how do you think the future's looking? We have an aging population, right? We have more people who are living longer, but they're not necessarily living healthy longer. And we need to raise the awareness of hospices and what they do, because I'm sure if it does happen to you and you find yourself in that situation, you would want to be at this beautiful place. So I think whatever we do this evening, however much money we raise, we always know when it's not going to be enough, because we're always going to need more. And I just want to finish on this. If you ever get a chance to spend time with Martin, and I'm going to ask Martin to come back for a second, because I can. And I want to ask Martin the question, Martin, what can we all do for you? Yes, we can raise money this evening, but it was actually Martin Luther King. So when we think of Martin Luther King, what do we think about? What did he say? Yes, but he also said the most important question that we should be asking each other is, what can I do for you? That's what he actually said. The most important question we should be asking is, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And my father was a Rotarian for 50 years. Anyone here a Rotarian? The motto of Rotary, right, is you seek service over self. You just want to serve. And all of us in this room are servers. That's why we are here. But we can always serve bigger. We can always serve better. We can always do more. And my wife is no longer with me, but her memory is still with me. In fact, can you just hold this microphone for me just for 1 second? If you just hold it up a little bit higher. Thank you. So, this tie, I don't often wear ties, but my wife, and I don't know why she did this, because she knew I didn't like wearing ties. My wife made this. My wife was a quilter. She made quilts. I don't know why she made a tie. And this is the first time I've ever put this tie on. And maybe you'll remember this evening even more because of this wonderful tie. Not that I'm very good at doing ties up, but I will. But I just want to say to all of you from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for supporting this incredible place. Thank you to all of you that put on this event this evening. But let's just take a moment to think about all of the people right now. Thank you. All of the people right now who are actually in the hospice. The people that are working there right now. I've never come across a place where there was so much love. And I think we can all love more. We can all be more loving. We can all do more. So why don't we just do something incredible? Raise more money. I think the goal was to raise 100,000, right? Was that, am I right in saying that this evening? Was that right? Yes? And where are we already? We're about 80, so we've only got 20 to go, right? What would be really great, what would be a better number to pull out the sky? 150. That would be amazing. And I just want to thank all of you for being here and me to be able to share who this woman was, because she was absolutely incredible and she just taught me so much. She taught me how to love, and that's all I have left. And this is, the last thing I wanted to say. Has anyone here ever lost anybody? Just put your hand up if you've ever lost anybody in your life. Yes, we all have. Yes, and some of us are lost a lot more than others, but can I ask you this? Why does it hurt? Why does losing someone hurt? I was thinking about this today because I live in Haywards Heath. I love Sussex. And I was driving up here and I was thinking, why does love hurt so much? Sorry, why does it hurt so much? And I think it hurts because we love the person. We love the people that aren't here, yes? Is that right? And it's hard when you lose someone that you love, but you can still love. You can still continue to love. You can take the love that other people gave you and you can give that to somebody else. You can be loving to every single human being that you meet. And I know this sounds like a sermon, but it's a fact. The only reason that the world is still here is that humans can actually love and appreciate. And I know that all of you in this room have huge amounts of love in your heart. That's why you support this hospice. That's my wife saying, come on guys, let's donate, get to 150,000. Thank you so much. I made a documentary, if you want to watch it on YouTube, it's called Hannah's Story, where I share the whole story over 14 years of what happened. She defied the odds. And we're going to defy the odds tonight by raising £150,000. So guys, this is MJ. MJ, what's going on? Have you had a nice night?
Oh, it's been amazing, Pete. We've been raising money for the hospice that Hannah was in. It's just fantastic, isn't it?
Well, I can't wait because it's now 12 o'clock at night. It's way past my bedtime. MJ's coming around to the house tomorrow. We're going to record something. I'm wearing this tie which Hannah made. I look like I'm at school. I look like I'm a school prefect.
Yeah, when he tied it, it was like he was at school because actually he doesn't know how to tie a tie, do you?
No, I don't.
But no, it's great.
Are you all right getting in here?
Yeah, I'm good now. I'm just going to notice what I'm doing. We're on a wonk, aren't we? And it's not easy just to negotiate, but we got it.
Wow.
We're there.
And does this thing have a mind of its own, this thing back here?
It does sometimes, if I don't lock it down. It does seem to, but then we are dealing with nothing.
Well, I'm going to be here.
Sorry?
No, I'll stick around.
All right,
Oh, I was an extremely late night, and it's Sunday. We raised. I didn't get back till 1 o'clock, and I normally go to bed at like 8 o'clock. So I'm going to call this the beginning of a new week. I've actually got Mandy Jane Lace coming around here, who was there last night. One of the most incredible human beings. I've got an incredible week coming up. I'm going to do another video diary. This week is going to see me going off to Nice, working with some young leaders from around the world, and a whole load of other things that I want to share with you. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. You know, I don't know how many of you have watched this all the way to the end, because I'm investing a lot of time into watching Pete Cohen's life, but hopefully it inspires you to look at your life with greater intention and realise a life of purpose, a life of meaning, a life of intention,
is so powerful, because then you know where to put your attention on things. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.